Hi James, we're here at Leilani Lodge after track work. Can you tell us about how that went this morning?
Yeah, so track work was a little busy this morning, given it was Tuesday before a Group 1 day. We had our Colt Eurozone hit the course proper. Jim Cassidy came in and galloped him. We put the blinkers on him. He had a good hit out over 1,200 metres, and we were really happy with the horse's work. You know, the horse really started hitting his struts just before the 600, which is not something we normally see from him. And Jimmy was able just to stoke him up sufficiently that he ran good time, had a good stretch out. I liked the way he covered the ground, and he came back through the middle after the gallop, just looking really good. He recovered quite quickly. You know, I think the combination of the blinkers on first time, aggressive rider like Jimmy, who's not only aggressive but he's in white hot form, is going to really suit us. And we're definitely going to need to have a few things in our corner, because even though, unfortunately for the connections of appearance, she's out of the race, race is going to be really strong. So he's going to really have to lift. But his track work this morning suggested that he could run just about the best race in so far this preparation. We also had a 2-year-old filly that's really on the way up, called Sultry Feeling. We've mentioned her before on the website. She galloped over 800 metres in company. She dispatched of her galloping partner, you know, really quite comfortably. She had class edge on that horse, and Jason Collett was good enough to do the gallop. He's engaged on the horse on Saturday, and he came away from the gallop saying, you know, she's really come on from when he rode her first up. So there's no reason why she can't mix it with some of those nice fillies in the Magic Night. But having said that, you know, some of those fillies have had a preparation under their belt. They're racing quite consistently, and they're going to be really smart come Saturday. So if we decide we get a little bit of cold feet, you know, we don't want to go around, there's always the Bailey the next week, or even a 1,300 metre no metro on Farm on Wednesday. So we're going to keep our options open. But she's a really speedy filly that's got good ability that definitely has a future. So we want to do the right thing by her.
That sounds really good. So we've got a busy week ahead of us. We've got so Kensington tomorrow. Can you tell us about which horses are running there?
Yeah, so we're represented in the first race by this fellow here. His name's Hallowed Crown. Hallowed Crown is a half brother to a very good gory colt called Needs Further. He came on the scene as a 2-year-old in January and started favourite at Randwick. He missed the start, got beaten, but when he came back to racing finally as an autumn 3-year-old, he won the Carbine Club Stakes third up, started favourite in the. He started favourite in the Frank Packer Plate. I think he went a miss there. He was never seen again, but evidently had ability. Unfortunately, this horse is by Street Sense, who is looking like being a pretty ordinary stallion. One of the funny things about racing is you can bag pedigrees, but you're not allowed to bag jockeys or trainers. You know. Unfortunately, as I said, Street Sense isn't exactly doing the job, but he's from a really good family. He's a lovely colt, and I think if he runs up to the improvement he showed in his second trial, then from Barrier 1 tomorrow, he can run a really good race sitting behind Com C, if I pronounced it right. And obviously, I think Country Warrior is going to be the horse to beat, given that it's got race form, and James McDonald's, you know, going to be giving it the perfect run, and it's been running on strongly. But look, our colt has trialled well, and he's come on from the trial. And he's a very handsome horse that's shown good ability. So our hopes are that he's competitive and that he's going to be better as a 3-year-old. We've got one other runner, Green Empire. He's the second emergency in the last race. If he's to get a start, then I think he can run a really competitive race, because he's been racing quite consistently. He's going to get the blinkers on for the first time, because we think that he's probably just still holding back a little bit. And if he gets a run, just settles somewhere a little bit off the speed, I think he's going to run a really big race too, because we gave him a little bit of a barrier. We gave him a barrier trial, sort of a bit of a hit out in between runs. It's about nearly a month between runs now, and he trialled really well with the blinkers on. So I think that's a really good formula to see him go close to winning again at Randwick tomorrow.
And Hawkesbury on Thursday, you've got quite a few runners. Can you tell us about those ones?
Yeah, so look at Hawkesbury, we've got Swing Boat. She's a speedy filly that sort of weakened out of it first up when a storm hit at Canterbury before the last race, and 1,200 may even have been a little bit beyond her. But she won over 1,000 metres on debut, and I think that you know, in the right company there, she's going to be really competitive. Her gallops have been really good in between runs, trained on. I would imagine that she camps somewhere right on the speed, controls the race, and Tim Clark, he knows the horse, he trialled it, he rode it first up, and I think he'd be going there with a bit of confidence, so I'd say she's just about the best of the day there at Hawkesbury.
So then you've got Street Tycoon in race 5.
Yeah, he's on debut. You know, 7 furlongs on debut will suit him only because he looks like a real 2,000 metre horse. He finished second in a barrier trial at Randwick, but it was a slow over the time. He's going to need to keep improving to be really competitive, but there's enough that from his track work suggests he can do that. He's going to have the blinkers on first up because he's the sort of horse that does need to focus. He just lopes along. He's a big, rangy sort of horse that will appreciate a middle distance. But I'd be following him sort of second or third up over a mile, maybe even a bit further, and he'd be quite competitive, I'd imagine.
Then in race 7, you've got Jason Collette on Forgiveness.
Yeah, so Forgiveness, she won over 1,500 last preparation at Hawkesbury. That was actually second up. First up, she finished third behind a very good horse called Complacent. Who would have thought at the time that he would have gone on to win 2 Group 1s that preparation? She had a bleeding attack at the end of last preparation. She's come back. We've taken her time with her, but we feel that getting her over 1,500 in a race where she can relax in her own rhythm, that'll really suit her. If she's not really going to be firing first up, and certainly she's a horse to follow second up. But finished back in her trials, but just wants a bit of ground and looks like a 2,000 metre horse all over.
And then in race 8, you've got Allurus with Christian Reith.
Yeah. Look, Allurus, she usually takes a few runs to get right into her preparation. Well, she certainly did in her one and only preparation last time in. She's a lazy track worker, which is probably the reason why that is the case. But she won her first trial. Her second trial was against stronger opposition, where she didn't do quite as well. But she's not facing any of those sort of horses on Thursday. And look, maybe she can run a little bit of an improved effort first up compared to her first preparation. But I would still, just seeing her this morning in Gallop, I would like to see her sort of a little bit deeper into her prep before I get too excited.
Then just to finish off, can you let us know about the races in Albury and Bendigo?
Yeah, so in Albury we've got Proposition, and we mentioned this to our listeners a few weeks ago that if we can just get the job done with her, then we'd be really happy to retire her to Chinnam's Broodmare Band. She ran third first up, was a good run, she was held up. She's going to Albury 1,400 metre for Fillies and Mares Maiden. Hugh Bowman's going to be there. So if he gives us a special, then maybe she gets the job done and we can retire her. Outside of her, we've got Aliana at Bendigo, who's one to look forward to because she won a trial at Cranbourne. She ran second or third in a trial at Randwick before that. She started off her preparation really well, and she's a lovely Zabeel filly that's won 3 races over a mile. She's a city winner, and I think she can go to another level this preparation and be a sort of competitor in the Greys races during the spring, during Cup week.
Fantastic. Good luck this week.
Thanks very much, Catherine.